back. Oh, man. Well, good morning. If this is your first time visiting with us, I'm sorry. You chose a goofy Sunday to be able to be here. My name's Pastor Mark, and I've been gone for a couple months on sabbatical, and so, just been letting my hair down and, trying. Yeah, I couldn't grow that if I tried, but whatever. We've had a good time with it, so it's been very, very good. I've enjoyed it. I am grateful for artificial intelligence helping me write that song. Wasn't that fun? I enjoyed that. That technology is getting smarter and smarter. I fed it a couple things, and it gave me some interesting lines back. I liked it. It also gave me a bunch of scary stuff. But one of them that it gave me I thought was really funny. A bunch of them I laughed at. But the one, I thought it sounded like early Jackson 5, Michael Jackson kind of whatever. And so I have to share it with you. Although there's one part I have no idea what it's saying. So you can tell me afterwards if you can figure that part out. But here, let me show you this part. I'm back, refreshed and renewed, ready to reach God's word, His love so true. Let's gather round, hearts open wide, in faith we'll cry, with God inside. I have no idea what that said in there. No idea. I listened to it like 100 times. I have no idea what the internet was trying to say on that. But hey, we're going with it. Jackson 5. It sounded good to me. I liked it. Not only have AI advancements moved in the time that I've been gone, but there's like a whole lot of things that have changed since I have been here last. For instance, the Olympics, came and went with some absolutely exquisite camera work on the trampoline. I thought that was incredible camera work. It was good to be able to see that. And of course, Simone continued her absolute dominance. I don't know if you know how tall she is. She's 4'8". And look at the size. Look at this guy in relation to where she's jumping. Like, she is absolutely incredible. You take 4+ rain barrels and she's clearing that. She gets up to about 12 foot. That's incredible. This is not an AI photo. This is real. Shaq is 7'1". So standing next to her, this is LeBron. Standing next to her, he's 6'9". Like, she is absolutely unbelievable, the height that she gets. It's been fun watching all that. There, of course, were some famous stare downs. I love that, looking sideways at her competitors. I don't know if you saw that. That was phenomenal and fit in with a lot of the other photos over the years of the Olympics. There's this one, which is pretty famous, and this one, which became an instant meme. Some good looks, and this especially well-timed photo. I thought that was just really, really awesome. And then there's this guy. Can't talk about it. Can't talk about him too much. We'll get ourselves in trouble. And then, of course, there's Ray Gun. You gotta love Ray Gun, right? A celebrity instant name, right? It's Ray Gun. You gotta love that name. And I don't know if you know this, but I think she's gonna be the Halloween outfit this year. They're already on Amazon. You can buy it. That's just incredible to me. So yeah, a lot has happened since I left for sabbatical. Like, for instance, back then, nothing was demure. Justin Bieber wasn't a dad. Caitlin Clark hadn't blown up the WNBA. Brat wasn't a thing. Well, it was, but nobody remembers back that far, right? And Snoop Dogg wasn't synonymous with the Olympics. I still don't understand how that happened, right? But that happened, right? But that's not all. There's been a lot of things that have happened since I've been gone, right? The Republican presidential candidate hadn't been shot. That hadn't happened yet. Our sitting vice president hadn't broken up with us via text yet. Our vice presidential candidate now is the new presidential candidate. That hadn't happened yet. And if that's not enough, I tuned in to be able to hear the different sabbatical preachers preaching and so forth, and I discovered that Richard is into dancing. I didn't know this. I didn't know this. Scott, Julie, did you know this? You know it, right? And I call them out. You can ask them later, but I got in all kinds of trouble over the hokey pokey at their wedding. So, Richard, this was good to know. This was good to know. Very good. So, I am glad to be back. It's been a whirlwind of things that have happened for you, for me as well, I'm sure, and a lot of culture stuff that has moved, as we just made a reference to. And I do want to stop and thank some folks. Before I go through the little list that I have prepared here, I want to say one that I don't have a way to be able to present up here very well, but I received a number, Heather and I both received a number of cards and letters and those kind of things while we were gone, and that was just super encouraging to be able to hear some of what's going on in your lives and so forth. Also received a big manila envelope full of cards that a bunch of kiddos had made. And I don't know who spearheaded that. There was no name on there or whatever. But that was just really, really cool to be able to go through. And some of the glue had, dripped through on other ones. So some of them were more collage, but I got the point, and I really appreciated that. So that was great. So thank you. I also want to thank our speakers. We had a number of outside speakers come in, Dave Coy, Brian King, and Brian Cook, and they did a wonderful job and helped meet some specific needs that we had for the specific Sundays that they were here. And so I know they're not here today, but I still want to just be able to acknowledge them here in this service, and I appreciate them. Appreciate the guys from inside our church here. I was calling them my sabbatical preachers, and these guys did a great job. First of all, can we just thank them here, first of all? I appreciate these guys, and like a lot of things probably, when you're outside of something, you don't realize how much work there is behind it, and these guys spent a lot of time with me working through some things and on their own studying God's Word and preparing, and really appreciate them sharing their testimonies, going to God's Word in that, and then opening God's Word the second week they spoke and sharing with us. I just really, really appreciate that. So, guys, thank you, and great job on that. Pastor... What's that?
Scott. Thank you, Scott. We remember you, Scott. Don't worry.
Cut and paste is a beautiful thing. Thank you. Yeah, Scott's on there. That should be Scott, or that should be Scott. However you want to flip that around, right? That works. Very good. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it. Good stuff. Pastor Nelson as well. Pastor Nelson spoke throughout August and also held down the fort for us in all kinds of different ways. So can we just thank Pastor Nelson here as well? There are other churches looking at some stuff with sabbaticals, and Lord willing, we'll talk about more on some of that in future weeks, but can churches do a sabbatical without having a Pastor Nelson? Yes, but it's a whole lot more stuff to be able to figure out and to be able to work through, and we are so blessed to be able to have him here. He made things so much smoother all the way around, so Pastor Nelson, thank you. I also want to thank the MCs. Alex and Richard were kind of our MCs for this time period, doing the announcements and coordinating some of that stuff with the speakers and so forth, and you'll recognize both their names, not Scott's because we didn't put that on here, but they were two of the speakers as well, so they were doing all of that, but then also took on this MC role, and again, someone gets up here, just makes a couple announcements, you're like, big deal. There's actually a lot more work. To do that well, there's actually a lot more work than you would think in that, so Alex and Richard, we appreciate you guys as well. Thank you. I also want to thank another group of people, and I'm kind of going to introduce it with this. This is a sister church of ours. They had done like a worship night kind of thing outdoors in their front parking lot, and so you can kind of see the music team here and the speakers. There's one of the singers over there. So the church is over here, right? And they're leading, and then they had this whole backdrop thing set up. But you'll notice behind it, there's some people back there, right? They're working pro presenter and that kind of stuff back behind the scenes. And I just thought it was a wonderful picture to be able to capture what really church in a lot of ways on a Sunday morning and programmatically is this kind of thing. There's the people out front that are seen, but there's all these people behind the scenes actually making it work. And so I want to just thank our ministry leaders, those of you that coordinate our different ministries. I know some of our ministries were shut down during the summer, during part of the time that I was gone, but I know there's work that continues to happen on that and the scroll up towards some things here in the fall. So ministry leaders, I just want to thank you for continuing to be the church for the church and doing everything you did to be able to keep things going. Thank you. And then, obviously, I want to be able to thank you as the church, all of you as individuals for looking for opportunities to be the ongoing church for the church and be able to serve each other, not just on a Sunday, but reaching out to each other during the week, being of encouragement to each other, and help that way. So thank you as well. As for my sabbatical, what did I do during the sabbatical? Well, I don't want to take all the time here this morning to just talk about me. At the same time, this sabbatical thing was an incredible gift to me and to Heather, and was a huge blessing. So I do want to give a brief report of sorts. We'll be hearing more stuff will be coming out over the upcoming weeks and months, I'm sure, but just a real brief thing. But first of all, if you're newer with us and weren't a part of all the stuff when we introduced sabbatical and so forth, let me just give you this sketch real quick. Basically, the point of sabbatical, in terms of the things I'm going to show you here in a minute, the point of sabbatical is to be able to step away, for a pastor to step outside of the normal grind of everything he's doing in the ministry and all the stuff that's constantly there, and to be able to step away from that, have a chance to be able to breathe a little bit and be refreshed and renewed, as we heard in the song, right? And to be able to have that time. And so a big part of doing that is to find things intentionally that help recharge me, right? And that might be different for you, but things for me, what is going to help me recharge and kind of get my head out of the normal things and into other things, which then, that gives a breath of fresh air and so forth. So that's a huge part of doing things in a sabbatical, is finding things that are outside the norm. So to the question of what did I do, or what things did I throw myself into to try to get my brain out of my normal stuff? Well, I, of course, spent time with God. There's no way to renew and refresh apart from Him, right? We don't go on vacation from God. We don't take a sabbatical from God. But what sabbatical did give me was some completely new ways to be able to pursue Him, ways that are unique to sabbatical, things like my own church attendance and so forth. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But yeah, some of the other things I did were just random things. Like I got my boating license. I like paddle boats and sailboats. You don't need a license for that. But I've always been interested in taking the class and getting the certification, so I did that. It is going to be New York State law by the end of the year. If you're a motorboater, you have to be able to have that. But I just did that. It's something to do. I've been interested in doing that. And then some of the other things that I did, we could really put them under 4 headings, the 4 R's, and I'm stealing from the 3 R's, right, which aren't 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic. And they're trying to teach us. They don't even start with, anyways, right, the 4 R's. Here's the 4 R's, the different things I was doing. You can kind of put them under these headings: rhythm, ryobi, reading, and relationship. Let me walk you through what I mean by these. Rhythm. I wanted to spend some guitar time with my adult son, Christian, who is the best guitar player I know personally, and we did get to do some of that, but not nearly as much as I'd hoped due to the amount of time I ended up spending on Ryobi, which is ironic because he works for the company that owns Ryobi, so it's very, very ironic that way. So Ryobi, the joke, if you have been around our church very long, you know the joke is that Pastor Mark doesn't know which end of a hammer to use, and that's pretty true going into this. Matter of fact, probably the coolest new tool that I got that I found just the most helpful going through the sabbatical and stuff that I bought and so forth, probably the coolest tool that I bought was this tape measure that gives you 3/8, 5/8. I love that. That was a game changer for me. That tells you the level that I entered sabbatical, okay, with my know-how here, right? So we got our own home here a few years ago, and so, I knew I needed to learn some basic woodworking skills and tools and that kind of deal to keep home ownership costs down, and so is sabbatical, and some time to be able to waste, if you will, because you end up doing stuff that goes in the burn pile. You know what I mean? It doesn't turn out so well. So this gave me some time to be able to do all that. So let me kind of break this down for you with what I did. First of all, by talking about the trips to the store, because that's the way these kind of things work, right? So here's my breakdown. I kept track of this. I had it in my truck, so every time I went out, I kept track. Harbor Freight, I did 8 trips to Harbor Freight. I did 18 trips to Home Depot, 19 trips to Lowe's. That's 45 trips in total that I went on this. I spent a little bit of time on this. As far as building projects, what did I build? Mostly I made sawdust. I got really good at making sawdust. A lot of stuff went on the burn pile, never to see the light of day. We're just not going to talk about it, all right? We're just going to leave that there. But I did get to a couple things that maybe didn't turn out well, but they're at least serviceable. I made some tables for some tools, and I made it so I could pull them out into the room so you have more room, then can roll it back in. We don't have that big of a garage, so I did it that way so you could pull everything out that way. I also built some shelving specifically for the woodworking stuff. I did some garage shelves, and yeah, they are way overbuilt out of really, really heavy lumber because that was the cheapest. Lumber prices are ridiculously expensive right now. I also built Heather a raised bed for strawberries, and that was kind of fun and also delicious. I also did a few small projects in the house. I did this chair rail type thing Heather wanted in the dining room, coat rack type thing for the entryway. I did a storage thing for batteries. We always end up with a whole ton of batteries, so I made a little storage thing for that and did that burn thing. I can't pronounce the name. Those of you that know woodworking know what I'm talking about. But anyways, I did that. Also did a workstation of sorts for all of my guitar stuff, so I had fun building that. And yeah, we had some fun with all of that. Again, the goal, right? The goal is to be able to get my mind outside the normal of things and the woodworking and try to learn some things that way. And I did learn a lot. So all good. Mission accomplished along those lines. But the really, really big project that I'm proud of, and I shouldn't be proud as a pastor, but I'm just telling you a little bit of pride. I'm just saying, okay? Is the bathroom renovation. I redid the main bath, and I know that's shocking to some of you. I have photo proof here in a second, right? But I remember I went into the summer with no skills whatsoever, and yet I redid our entire main bathroom. I literally brought it down, not to the studs. I went straight to the dirt. I mean, we went all the way on this, and I know you don't believe me, but I have pictures to be able to show it in main bath reno. Here you go. Take a look. I mean, I did just an absolute phenomenal job on all this. And if you have a dog, you get it. If you don't, talk to a neighbor next to you. They'll explain this. Moving on. Probably the highlight for me with the Ryobi stuff and this woodworking things is I had, the garage. I was working in the garage mostly and had table saw out in the driveway, dust all over the place. And so, people just driving by, everybody would see me out there playing with stuff. And I had a neighbor come up. And some of you guys, this happens to you all the time. This has never happened to me in my life. This guy comes up the driveway, one of my neighbors, and he says, Mark, can I borrow? And he lists one of the tools. And inside I'm going, he wants to borrow one of my tools. Nobody's ever asked me. I have never been that guy. I'm like, sure. I hand him the thing, and I'm just like, this is so cool, right? This is just crazy stuff. That was pretty fun. I enjoyed that goofy moment. Reading. I love to read, and I know for some people it's like a chore and so forth, and so you'd be like, that's the first thing I'd ditch if I did a sabbatical. For me, I just love to read. Like, I just devour books. It's easy for me to read a book in a few hours, depending on the book and so forth. I just love to be able to read. And so I did not ditch that. I did some reading during sabbatical and really, really enjoyed that. And actually, one of the books that I read, I want to be able to recommend to you, if I can take the opportunity to do that, is this book, What Do I Say When? And this book is... It's written by a husband and wife who have kids, and they're trying to answer some various questions. So let me just hit some of the chapters, right? Human dignity, abortion, sexuality, gender, homosexuality, identity, transgenderism, technology, political engagement, hostility, and persecution, so forth, right? It hits these different subjects where you're going, my 5-year-old just asked me a question, and I'm like, I don't know the answer, let alone how to answer them. Well, look at the size of this book. It's a real small book, and what they've done is they've set out to be able to show a theology, like here's what the Bible says on these things, and then they end with like a stair-step kind of thing. Like if you're talking to a younger child, here's how you can kind of answer that question age appropriate. And then for those that are a little older, here's another step. Here's how you can keep going with that. It's a wonderful, wonderful little book. This is brand new. This was released August 13th, so nobody has this book yet. It's brand new. I would encourage you to pick this book up. Probably for many of us, just for our own self, this would be very, very helpful. Any one of those subjects, there's whole huge books written on each of those subjects, and they break it down in one chapter. So very, very accessible. They're trying to equip us as parents with our kids, but for all of us here, you got questions on some of those subjects, I think you'd find this a quick, accessible kind of book. I know if there's certain subjects that excite you, whatever, you want to jump right to that chapter, you can do that with this, but it really does build in the way that it argues some things. So I'd encourage you, if you do buy it, to be able to read it from start to finish, and I think it would be helpful to you that way. So I did a bunch of reading, enjoyed that. I got a lot of value out of that, and reading, no doubt, makes me a better pastor to all of you, and also makes me, Lord willing, a better husband for my wife, which brings me to the relationship side of things. I talked about this as we were going into the sabbatical stuff, and we were introducing some of that, is when Heather and I got married, she was 19 years old when we first got married. I'm a couple years older, and we dove into the ministry within a year of getting married, and so every weekend is ministry stuff since she was 19. A lot of our evenings, our weekday evenings, are out ministering and so forth. So we've been going at that for years and years and years. And so it's been such a blessing and a gift from all of you to be able to give us this unique time of these last couple months to be able to be a part of some things together and to be able to attend church together and so forth. So one of the really cool things, kind of spiderwebbing off of that thought for a minute, is one of the cool things as far as Heather and I and having the weekends together was the fact that it gave me the ability then to be able to visit other churches each week. And we were in some churches in the Syracuse area, if you will, some more outside of town. We went out of state with some things as well due to some family things we were attending and whatnot. And if you stop and think about that for a minute, put yourself in the pastor hat for a second, it's helpful for a pastor to get outside of his own whatever sometimes, right? And to be able to see what other churches are doing. And not to copy them, that's usually a disaster, right? But just to be able to see what's out there, right? The good, the bad, the ugly, and so forth. And frankly, some of the things I saw was very discouraging. Other things were very encouraging at the same time. But all of it ends up being very, very helpful to me. So that was just a huge gift. On part of the good parts of this, and Heather and I being able to go and be in these different churches, is I found myself at different points super encouraged by this or that person. It might be the pastor, it might be someone on the music team, it might be someone serving in the background somewhere, and just something would stand out to me. And so I do the little work to find their email address and send them a note and encourage them and so forth. And what I got back a surprising number of times were people writing back starving, basically. Like they would write back to me saying, thank you so much. Like I didn't think I was actually doing a very good job at all. I was thinking about quitting this ministry. Like I don't even think I'm capable of this. And I'm reading the stuff going, you're killing it, man. Like you're doing a great job. Like awesome, right? And they were just so encouraged by that. And so I just want to say along with that, coming through all this, if you're one of the servants in our church and you're serving and you're having those same kind of thoughts, man, we thank you for you. We're grateful for what you're doing. You're killing it. If you weren't, we'd be talking to you about it, right? You're killing it. You're doing a great job, and you are very, very needed here. We're super grateful for what you do and for all that you have continued to do all the way through this wonky sabbatical kind of stuff. The other side of this that I want to say is for our encouragers, some of us have this unique gift almost from the Lord to be able to encourage other people. We just kind of see those kind of needs and we come alongside verbally, or we send a letter, we pick up the phone, we take someone out for coffee, whatever. We're just encouragers. And it was just shocking to me traveling to all these different churches, repeatedly seeing high caliber people, is what we say, right? Serving and all these things. And when you talk to them, they were insecure, if you will, and needed encouragement. And so for you encouragers, I want to encourage you. We need you. The church needs you, right? You need to be encouraging people. You might not think that registers and whatever. Oh, it does. It's very, very needed. And I want to encourage you to be able to encourage. Kind of going along those lines a little bit, and I'm spiderwebbing just a bit, but for those of you that are married in our church, and I'm thinking along the lines of encouragers, for those of you that are married in the church, last week, Ben and Lindsay, two of our folks here at church, got married, and we're excited for them. But I'm also excited for us as a church to be able to serve them. So think with me for a minute on this, right? Scripture speaks of the need for older women to come alongside of younger women. It specifically says to teach them how to love their husbands. And then it gives a similar-ish type encouragement to older men. So church, if you are older than Ben and Lindsay, you're the older person. Is where that's coming from, right? That's the way that works. So I want to encourage us as a church family to be the church for the church. Let's welcome this new married couple back when they come back. Let's welcome them with excitement, yes. But let's not do ministry like this with them just at church, just inside these walls. I want to encourage you to invite them over for dinner to your house, invite them out for coffee, whatever, man to man, woman to woman, or as couples, so you can be of encouragement to them. Iron sharpens iron, especially especially here within this oh-so-critical first year of marriage. Think about that, those of you who are married, and all the routines and habits and so forth that get established that first year. First year is a big first year of marriage. So invite them over next year. Yeah, cool. But no, it's critical this year one. And so I'd encourage you to prayerfully, maybe even on the drive home as couples today, to be talking to each other. What can we do? How do we come alongside this couple so that you can be an encouragement to them as they go through this next 6 months to a year? You can make a huge impact on them. So encouragers, I challenge you with that. So yeah, great opportunity as a church to be able to impact them, really just as all of you have impacted Heather and I through this sabbatical and giving us this time and so forth. So Heather and I have been renewed and refreshed in so many different ways, and so we thank you for that. So enough about Heather and enough about me. I want to introduce you to a couple things that are upcoming here, opportunities that we're excited about at the church. I know we've got a number of announcements and so forth, and today's very, very different. If you're visiting with us for the first time, I promise you come back next week, we'll open the Bible and we'll go straight in. Today's a little different with me just coming back, but I want to walk you through a couple things that are coming up. The first is a couple needs things, some things I'd kind of like to be able to go after, but I don't know if we'll be able to. It depends on some manpower issues, if you will, human resources as to whether we have some of that. We want to be able to get our Welcome Center stuff going. We've been talking and laboring at that for a little while. It just comes down to human resources. We need some people to help with that. So if you hate people, this is probably not the ministry for you. If you are super shy and generally speaking you run whenever you see people, this is probably not the ministry for you. If you can't ever get to church on time, this is probably not the ministry for you, as you'll need to be here at least a little bit early in order to welcome other people when they come in, right? But if you can arrive a little bit early on a Sunday morning and you like people and you're an easy conversationalist, then this is probably a good fit for you, or possibly anyway, so come talk to me on that, and we can go from there. The second is video editing and acting is the way that I put it, right? I'm looking for one or two people who enjoy working with video editing, maybe even TikTok, shorts, reels, those kinds of things, as well as a couple actors or actresses, not because we're going to be putting on plays or something like that, but some of the things I'm thinking we're wanting to do, those that have some actress type proclivities would enjoy doing the kind of things and have some of the skills to be able to do it. So come talk to me if you think you might be a fit for one or both of those things, and I'll be honest, to make this idea work, I really need both, either one or two people that have both those skills or individuals that can do this and this. Otherwise, we can't pull it off. So anyways, there's a couple needs on some new things we'd like to start, but there's also then the relaunching of our fall programs, the normal things we're doing there. Kids Club is getting launched here a week from today, and we're excited about that, not only because it's the fall and startup of summer, but because we've made the big switch to an entirely new curriculum that we think is light years ahead of where we were, and we're just super, super excited about this. So no doubt when there's new things and whatever, there's bumps and whatever in the journey, getting acclimated to it, so there'll probably be some of that. But I want to encourage you, pray for the leaders as they get acclimated to it. Be praying for our young people as we as a church minister to them. Be praying for the leaders as they're diving into this. And parents, if you've got kids in that age range, we'd invite you to for sure take advantage of that program and be interacting with your kids on the drive home and so forth about what they learned. We're super excited to be able to see this get launched back off here this next week. Youth groups starting up here on the 17th, so that's, 3 Tuesdays out, or 2 from this Tuesday, however you want to say that. And a different night, it's going to be on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock, and so we're excited to be able to get that relaunched here as well. And teens, I know there's a lot of stuff going on this time of year as you get with school and the shopping and all the whatever stuff. I get all that. We'd encourage you, though, to start right out with youth group and not miss any of that. We're looking forward to a new season of that. We've also got Gap D Sundays after church, hopefully, I put, because you know who leads that ministry? I do, and I've been gone for months. So I need a little bit of time to interact with those that have led in this before. And so prior Gap D leaders, be expecting some calls and emails from me, or feel free to reach out to me. That'd be fine. But we need to work through some of that, and then hopefully before too long get this started back up as well. So those are the three ministries starting back up here shortly, Lord willing. And we have a brand new ministry that we're launching this fall, and we're going to be talking about that here in a minute. So hold on that for 1 second. But I want to cover a couple other upcoming events real quick. There's the Renew Women's Conference. We saw the video at the beginning, and I know we've done a bunch of announcements on this, or I've been told we have. So I just want to tap on it here real briefly for two different reasons. The first is that today actually saves you some money if you're wanting to go to this. Today is the early day registration stuff. So if you wait till tomorrow, it goes up $10, and you can, of course, just walk in at the last minute at the conference and pay there, but then you're paying even more money. So I just want to make sure you're aware of that. If you're interested in going to this, do this today. It saves you money just by doing it today. I also wanted to highlight this because of this young lady right here. When Heather and I were in college, we were in a small church down in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania. Rachel's dad actually was from down that direction. And we were attending this church, and we had gotten a youth group started and so forth, and God was growing the church. Really cool things were happening. And we got to where we needed a junior high youth group. And so Heather and I started a junior high youth group. In the first week, 20-something kids showed up. And one of the little junior hires that showed up is Julie. And she's obviously grown up, and she's become an author and a speaker. She just does a wonderful job with this. She did one of the workshops. I don't know some of you ladies that went last year if you went to her workshop or not, but she went. We also know her husband, her husband's parents, and my parents go way back. Just some really, really neat people. So ladies, we'd encourage you to be able to attend this, and you are not going to get a closer women's conference than this. It's in Memphis. It's just down the road. It's a bicycle ride, right? And you can get there. So I'd encourage you to be able to come. We say this with other conferences, but I really mean it. Even if all the workshops are terrible and the main speaker is terrible, it's still a great time just to be able to go with other ladies from the church, right? And just to be able to spend that time together. And if I understand right, Ruth is trying to get a group for breakfast that morning, right? So if you're interested in getting the breakfast there, talk to Ruth. She can help you figure out where they're going with that. But then, to be able to attend this, I'd encourage you to sit together during the sessions, sit together during lunch, enjoy that time of fellowship together. Good stuff. We're excited about it. We also have coming up a potato bar, September 29th at 6 p.m. Oh, no, not that. No, not that at all. No, potato bar, right? Baked potato and all the toppings, all that stuff. That's what we're doing. And if you'd like, there's no fee or whatever to be able to attend, no sign-up sheet or anything like that. We'd invite you just to be able to come. If you want to invite people, feel free to be able to do that. If you'd like to help bring some of the toppings and so forth, there's a specific menu that's put together for that, and there's a sign-up sheet in the back. If you'd like to sign up to be able to bring some of those toppings, you can sign up on that so we don't end up with 400 pounds of cheese or something, because that's all the people bring, right? So please sign up for the appropriate numbers that are on there, and that would just help offset the cost of some of this for the church as well. So if you'd like to help with that, cool. If not, that's fine. Just come. We look forward to that. One of the things we were talking about right before I left was our Join the Team class. This is basically our conduit to membership. If you're interested in joining the church, this is a class you need to take as part of that process. But also, if you're just new to the church and interested in some more about us and some key things about what we believe and so forth, this is a class we encourage you to be able to take. There's no commitment to join the church and absolutely zero pressure on joining after this at all. And I teach this class, so it gives you an opportunity to meet with me as well. We run these 3 Sundays in a row. Basically, right after church, we have a couple minutes to be able to talk and so forth. We go downstairs, includes lunch. We eat lunch together and walk through the class, so very relaxed time. At the end of the day, what we're going to do is, if you're interested in being a part of this, come talk to me. That's how you sign up. There's not a physical sign up. Just come let me know that you're interested. And then I'll try to coordinate with those of you that are interested in taking the class as to what dates work for you. I'm going to throw out, just because we're diving into all the fall stuff, I'm going to throw out some dates, and we'll see if they work so you can interact with me on this, those of you that are interested in taking the class. But ideally, we'd have the class these 3 Sundays. We actually have a guest speaker coming in the 4th Sunday, so this allows me to be able to get this in without having that lunch interfere with all that with the speaker. So I'd love love to be able to get that. And then when we're done with the class, there's no pressure on joining or anything like that. But those that do want to join, we then have a process, you interview with the deacons and so forth. And so we'd like to be able to get that taken care of in November, December. That might seem like a long time, but there's Christmas in there, Thanksgiving in there, and so forth, right? So there's not as many Sundays for that kind of thing as you would think. But the hope is we could get the classes done here, get the interviews done, and then have a celebration Sunday, we call it, when new people join the church. We got people getting baptized and so forth. And that's the first Sunday of the year. So New Year's just a great time to be able to celebrate this kind of thing. So ideally, that's what we would do. So if you're interested in taking this class, or even if you just have questions on it, the first time you heard us talking about it, come talk to me on it. And if you definitely know you want to take it, let me know if these dates work for you and what doesn't, and we'll pull all those together and go with the most we can on that. Now, we have a new ministry that we're going to be starting here this fall that we want to kind of let you in on. It's something that we've been working on, a new program that Pastor Nelson and I have kind of been burdened on for a good little while, and we believe the timing is right for us to launch the program, and so we're excited to do so. So we're kind of going to wrap up the rest of our time here this morning by introducing you to this new ministry. So we're going to do that first of all with a video we're going to show, and Pastor Nelson's going to come up and share the rationale behind it and a bit of the program, when it will begin and so forth, and then I'll come back up to say a few words and kind of wrap up our time. So first, this video, and then Pastor Nelson will come up.
I don't know about you, but that really resonates with me. Much has been written about the ways that millennials or Gen Z will affect our culture. And no doubt they will. But I believe that in the short term, the greatest effect will be from baby boomers, my age, and around that. And that's not because I'm a baby boomer, but because of some arresting numbers. By the numbers, Americans in retirement age, 1 in 6. Total current retirees, 55 million. It's tied as being the largest age cohort in the country. Every year until 2027, 4 million Americans will turn 65. Most will retire. In addition, many workers are retiring early. And when everything is considered, Yahoo Finance estimates that close to 6 million Americans will retire each year over the next 3 years. Think with me about the impact on the economy, on the political landscape, on healthcare, on churches, on these people themselves. You look at these numbers and it's clear. This is a mega group of people in a stage of life upheaval. And I struggle exactly what to call us. You'll hear me going back and forth between them because not all who turn 65 retire. Some retire early, some don't formally work. Maybe they've been at home or they're caretakers. Nevertheless, whether we call them, us, retirees, soon to retire, aging people, seniors, or whatever, we are experiencing a stage of life upheaval with some of the following. And I think the same thing will happen to you as you look through this as it did to me and to Pastor Mark. A lifelong routine of getting up and going to work, 30, 40, 50 years, it's gone. The human connections that you make at work are severed. Marriage rhythms are disrupted and divorces spiked. I learned that since 1990, the divorce rate of those over 65 has tripled. Tripled. Finances change. Even if finances are healthy, they are different. Most have more free time, and although for many, retirement means freedom from a disliked job, for others it means loss of identity and significance. Now, I had a few more. I didn't put them on the slide. There wasn't room, and I didn't want to do another one, but despite generally better physical health means than previous generations, we resent the time managing the health. Some people are stuck where they are and they feel cheated. And I often get this vague sense of unhappiness that's crept into their lives. And I hear it often as negativity in conversations. This is definitely a lot to face, and it's no surprise that many of these dear people are struggling with this transition. A few observations. When I ask people about their retirement plans, I mostly hear statements like, I need to rest up because I'm tired of working. I plan to play golf or travel or move out of New York State, get away from the snow, sleep in if I want to, play more with the grandkids, walk my dog more often. And any of these things can be elements of a plan, but a list of activities is not a plan. Another, much financial planning assistance is available, but there's much less in such vital areas as how to grandparent. It's a whole different ballgame from being a parent. And just spoiling your grandkids, well, that can alienate your parents or your kids and their parents. So how do we do that? How do we learn to parent our adult kids? And as we get older, maybe be parented by them. Maintaining a sense of purpose and healthy attitude. How do we do that? Managing the health changes and preparing for dying and for heaven. We don't want to talk about those things, but those are very real. And we want to do that finishing well. These get less attention, but they are so, so important. And one result is that well-intentioned decisions that turn out poorly, particularly in moving to another location. I just want to pause here for a moment and say, if you're thinking about a major decisions in this stage of life, please consider asking Pastor Mark or I to speak with you. We have repeatedly watched these decisions go badly for avoidable reasons, and we'd love to help you avoid the traps. So bottom line, it's a tough time for retirement age folks, and you can see why it's gotten Pastor Mark's and my attention. But it's also gotten our attention for another reason. And that's because we are excited about the opportunity this presents.
Amen.
It's well known that the best time to interact, to impact people's lives, help them grow, is when they're in transition. To emphasize, this is a major responsibility for Imperfect Church, but also a huge opportunity. Not only can we minister to our seniors, but they can minister to us and to the world. Think about the intergenerational part of it that Pastor Mark already spoke about. They have time to serve and lives that know and can share the love of Jesus. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that you senior retirees, could transform churches and the world. Now, a couple more relevant numbers. Various surveys put evangelicals at a quarter of our population, or about 14 million retirees. And let's dream a little. What if 10% offered to give the Lord a significant chunk of their time? It's 1.5 million people serving in churches and other gospel ministries. We could have a revival. Think about what churches could do with that kind of resource for ministry. What if even more stepped up? So, as Pastor Mark already said, we have been exploring how can we help and mobilize these seniors retirees. God's plan for seniors is to have a humble but outsized impact on younger generations, helping all ages mature and become more like Christ. Imperfect Church can serve these dear people by helping them to finish well in two key areas. First of all, applying God's principles to the retiree senior stage of life. God's Word tells us how to navigate this. We're not left alone. Also, identifying and using our gifts and abilities to serve the church and their neighbors. Contrary to our culture's pervasive ageism that devalues seniors, God has a purpose for us, and in a few minutes, Pastor Mark has some great wisdom from God on that. So at Imperfect Church, we want to facilitate this primarily in three ways. One is connecting them with others going through similar life circumstances. This Lone Ranger thing that Americans have, it doesn't work. It's not the way God designed us. It's not the way that we really do well. It's gotten to be a habit, so it seems strange, but He intended for us to live life together. Connecting them intergenerationally within the church, and then connecting them with resources addressing their unique challenges. And to this end, we are starting our Finishing Well ministry for those who are approaching or are already in the retirement stage of life. Say that again. For people who are already there, but also for those that are approaching it, so that they can be preparing. This ministry will be open to our imperfect church family and our community, and you're encouraged to invite and bring friends. The biblically based material is applicable to everyone in this stage of life. Now, we plan to start this fall meeting 1.5 hours a week up to the holidays. We'll break for the holidays like other ministries and then start up again afterwards. Our starting curriculum is a 7-lesson video series entitled 7 Essentials for Finishing Well by Hal Habaker. Dr. Habaker is a retired pastor who leads a ministry that's also called Finishing Well, and it provides tools like this to churches. The material includes a video and a study guide teaching the Bible principles that will guide us in finishing well. Then in the new year, we're going to continue the study looking at one or more of the areas that emerge from the fall study. So if you are at or in or close to these retirement years, I invite you to participate in this new ministry. Let me know of your interest and what schedule works best for you. Our plan is to meet Mondays or Tuesdays evenings, or it could be a Sunday afternoon or evening, whatever accommodates your schedule as much as possible. And if you can't make this fall, let me know of your interest. If you know someone who could benefit, please consider inviting them. And if you have questions, of course, come up to me afterwards, and I'll do my best to answer them. I tell you, I am greatly anticipating what the Lord can do through this ministry, helping seniors, retirees to finish well.
If I can say it this way, this is going to be somewhat of a choose-your-own-adventure kind of curriculum. We've got the set stuff that we're going to begin with, and then depending on the makeup of the group and what the needs are and so forth there, it'll adjust accordingly. So don't think this is a canned thing only. Yes, we're beginning with some concrete things, but then we'll see from there depending on the makeup of the group. So we want to invite you to do that. If I can illustrate some of this, going back to what I was talking about with Ben and Lindsay as they return, and the older, anybody older than them is older, being able to come alongside and so forth. I know one of the really easy things for us to be able to do sometimes is just kind of part of our sinful nature, but we think about that a little bit and we go, man, well, nobody did that for me when I got married, you know? I mean, it would have been great when we first got married the first year if we had some different couples in the church bringing us into their home and loving on us. Like, that would have been wonderful, and no one did it for me. And we so quickly pivot back around to ourselves. But let me spin the whole thing around and say this. Wouldn't it have been good if someone had done that? You can be that for them. And you can be that for other people in some of these other dynamics that Pastor Nelson is talking about. We're excited about the potential there. A few years ago, I heard of this book called The Gun Lap. And the name, obviously, I don't know if you can tell from where you're sitting, but there's a track, start line here, right? And if you're familiar with track and field at all, in the long races where you're running multiple laps, when you come around and you're on your final lap, they'll fire a gun saying, this is it. You got anything left to kick? Kick now. This is the final lap. So that's where the title comes from, the gun lap, the final stage of life, if you will. These retirement years, that age range and so forth, the gun lap, and the whole book focuses on that. And so when I heard about the book, when it first came out, and because of Pastor Nelson and I's burden along these lines, I, of course, bought the book right away and read it, thinking it might be a resource for us, and there's a lot of really good stuff in there. So I immediately ordered another copy for Pastor Nelson, and when it arrived, I drove it to his house, knocked on his door, and when he opened it, I said something to the effect of, I found this book, it's phenomenal. I'm giving you this book not because you need this book, but because you are this book. And I think anybody that's been around our church for very long, right, there's always things you can say you don't like about me or that you don't like about Pastor Nelson or whatever. That's just the way things are. But one thing you can't say is that Pastor Nelson has not exemplified all of this. Many of you know that he worked his career at Syracuse University, and in his retirement, he hasn't hugged a rocking chair or fled to a sunny beach somewhere. Pastor Nelson has well exemplified the things we're talking about here with his life and everything we're looking to accomplish with this new program. So I can't think of a better person to be able to lead this. Will that mean, though, that everyone participating in this is going to become a pastor? That's where this is going. No, kind of like Ted in the video, right? Ted has some photo skills and some finance skills, so he dove into that. Pastor Nelson came into his retirement years with unique backgrounds, some seminary training and so forth that uniquely qualified him. So you might go photography directions, whatever else. But we're excited to be able to see what God is going to do through this, as everyone can be and should be considering their retirement years as the ways they can be serving God well. I'm excited to see the group launched. I'm excited to see Pastor Nelson lead it. And I'm excited not only for those of you who will join him in this journey, but I'm excited at the impact potential that you can have as you press out into our church, into our community, as seniors looking to utilize well this final stage of life. As God gives you this stage to uniquely be able to serve him, or as the Bible itself says it. Isaiah 46, God himself speaking. He says this, he says, listen to me, listen. Listen to me, God says. Listen to me, you whom I have upheld since your birth, I have been upholding you. I have carried you since you were born. Even to your old age and to your gray hairs, I am he who will sustain you. I have made you, and I will carry you. I will sustain you. Remember this. Keep this in mind. Take it to heart. I say, my purpose will stand. I find this little section of Scripture so encouraging because of the connection that God makes between his sustaining power right from the very beginning in our youth all the way through till our senior years, even in our old age. And he connects all of that and his sustaining power through all of our life, and he connects that to purpose. He connects that to purpose. God himself is still at work in and through those of us who are no longer young, shall we say. What an incredibly encouraging section of the Bible for all of us as we age. And I hope it encourages you that there's some neat opportunities coming for you, and we want to help you look at some of that with this class. Stand with me if you would, and we're going to pray for this new group as we launch it, and together as we head into some of the things here in the fall and all that God has for us. And I'd encourage you next week to be able to come back as if you stop and think a little bit with me, the presidential election is just 9 weeks away, and already people are freaking out over all of that, forgetting the basics, right? I got one more slide there. Can you give me that one more slide? There we go. Forgetting the basics, right? As to what God himself has said. So yeah, as Christ followers, what should we be doing as the election day nears? We're actually going to stop and we're going to look at some of that next week. We could do a whole series on it or not. We're just going to look at a couple things together next week to hopefully be of encouragement to us as we head into this election cycle. If you have any questions for me, I am fresh back off of sabbatical, doing my calendar planning, all those kind of things for upcoming messages and so forth. If you scan this with your phone camera, link will come up. It is completely anonymous. I see nothing but the questions or comments or whatever that comes in underneath what you'll see on there. That's all I see. So if there's something you'd like for me to maybe consider speaking on as a topic or a particular passage or something like that, please fill that in. And then there's a spot just for general things as well. I know with my sabbatical, I've been gone quite a little while here, and there's some faces I don't recognize in the room. I would love the opportunity to get to meet you if I've not met you yet. I'm anticipating getting swamped afterwards because everyone wants to see my new hair. So I'm probably going to get swamped afterwards, and I look forward to reconnecting with all of you. But if you're newer to our church and have not met me yet, you get to be the front of the line, okay? Please come on down. I'd love to have the opportunity to be able to meet you. Don't let a crowd stop you there. Good stuff. Let me close this in a word of prayer. God, we are, first of all, just so thankful for all that you have given us here in church. This local church, yes, but also, God, just the bigness of church. And I'm freshly reminded of all that with Sabbatical and traveling all over the place and seeing, indeed, you are at work all over the place, not just in this country, but beyond. God, we're so grateful. And God, we thank you for our local church here and for the many ways that you have grown each of us during this whole sabbatical time period. God, what a season of change and growth it's been for all of us. And at the same time, God, we thank you for today and bringing us back together. We look forward to seeing where you're going to have us to be able to go from here together as we strive forward together in the making of more and better disciples to your honor and to your glory. And God, that certainly includes the startup of this new ministry that Pastor Nelson is heading up. And God, we live in a culture that constantly tells us that our best days are always ahead of us. They're always ahead of us until we reach age 25 or 30. And then it's all over. And it's just a constant battle for beauty or success or fitness or whatever. But whatever that standard gets put out, God, we end up falling short of it. And so many become depressed and are hurting and hopeless and without much purpose. So God, we thank you for loving us enough to be able to put down in your word, the Bible, recording for us exactly why we're here, what you've called us to do, our purpose, our mission at every age and at every stage of life. We look forward, God, to chasing after these very things to your honor and your glory together, no matter our age. We as individuals within this church family, we want to support each other as we go through life's various stages on mission, all while giving you praise. Help us, Father, as we do. In Jesus' name and for Jesus' glory in these days, I pray these things. Amen.